Hey guys, and welcome back for another content of Go Muffin. And in this video, we are going to discuss the DPS build of Thaumaturge, the CC2 of Acolyte. The Thaumaturge harness both light and dark elements to unleash powerful attacks or heal their allies. I've already discussed the healer build here in my channel, so I recommend you to check it out to maximize the potential of your role as a healer. This time, we are now focusing on their DPS side. And surprisingly, I find their DPS more stable and I think much stronger than my mage, which is kinda weird. While they may not excel at handling crowds such as in the waves of horror, they shine in boss fights. Having a strong DPS build is crucial, especially when progressing through the main story. This allows you and your duo party to take down bosses quickly, earn 3-star and maximize idol reward. So without further ado, let's get into the build. First is the stat allocation. Just like with other DPS build, they need to balance their crit and determination. For starters is 30%. As you go on, jump to 35, then 40, 45 and so on. Next is accuracy, one of the most important stats. You should not overlook it. Make sure to reach 100%, but there's no need to go beyond that. Attack speed is 130%. Haste is around 30 to 40%. Then mastery is also 30% and above for a better output. Crit damage should be maximized if you really want to deal the highest DPS possible, and bellow moves will help it scale to get a better percentage. But this is my take. I think you should just ignore crit damage for Thaumaturge, because if you switch to healer builds for rifts, the crit damage stat won't work. What I mean is the heals do crit, but it won't multiply your crit damage stats on your heals, which makes these stats somewhat useless. So for me, I'd better add other stats like mastery if you want to deal more damage and also improve your healing numbers at the same time. No more Melomon move swapping, less hassle. Now that we just talked about the Melomon moves, here's what I mean by move swapping. On the offensive slot, crit damage will be the best option to maximize your DPS. But like what I've said, this won't multiply your heals, so for me, I just stick to mastery for overall performance. You can also slot crit, determination, or even accuracy. Check your stat window first and see what stats are lacking, then slot the stats that you need. For defensive, just slot the healing bandage so you won't swap anything here. Then for the balance, just like what I've said, just check your stat window and do the same thing. The Melomon deployed will be the Demon Hound, and the special skills are Your Turn, Echo, and then Sharpness of Claw or Arcane Resonance to maximize the damage. Now let's go to our skills. Our core skill is the Twin Flame, obviously, and this will be your highest damage dealing skill throughout the duration, so we will focus on boosting this skill. Our tactical skills are Death and Rebirth. This skill is a burst damage to an area and increases your Twin Flame damage by 50% for 15 seconds. Shadow Clone is just a replica of your character and only does replicate your basic attacks. But this clone will help you drive more Blaze Spirits when basic attacking. And by that, it will deal more damage with Blaze Spirits and also regenerate your energy faster so you can cast another core skill. And then Imperial Guards. Now this is situational. As you can see, I almost have 35% haste and it is much better to use the Imperial Guards if you reach 35% haste or above. But if you have low haste like 20 to 25%, I advise you to just use the Radiant Focus to gain more haste. Now, what haste does to Thaumaturge DPS is adding more cast speed of our core skill as well as adding a little bit of attack speed. Having a low cast speed will result in a lower DPS and it is much noticeable in longer duration fights. For passive skills are energy conversion for more core skill damage, but this reduces your passive damage, which is okay because your passive damage are not really that impactful. Then we have the Astral Synergy for more skill damage, Burning Fuel, Executor, and Clone Form. And now let's go to our talent. Main talent is the power of Twin Flame, and the only path here is to go all left for the Sinful Blaze boosting. Descending increases your damage dealt by Sinful Blaze Spirit for 40%. Sinful Blaze Gathering increases your Sinful Blaze Spirit damage by 20% when full stack. Abyss of Sin transforms all Spirit Blazes into Sinful One. Black Sea increases your overall damage by 50% in total. and separate ways to increase your core skill damage by 9% in total. For the sub-talents, you can play around with a Haste and Cooldown, Forging Foundation, and Voice of Bloodlust. You can also use Zealot Burden if you have low crit rate, and Lightning Reflex if low determination. So balance your stats wisely. For your mount, the one that you should deploy is the Husky if you are dealing with boss monsters. This mount's opening skill is the best for DPS, but in my case I just go all out and star up my Rainbow to furtherly increase my attack stats. This way my healing numbers would go up as well as my DPS. For your cat bun, just follow the recommended flavors that has an approved icon, but for its face is the Lively. And for the cat skill is the SP Our Alliance or the SP Kitty Coin. Now for the combat, you won't be doing any manual controlling here, since their skills are aligned and synergize pretty much unlike the other DPS classes like mages. Now you will notice a slightly faster casting speed if I change my Imperial Guard to Radiant Focus, because Radiant Focus gives another 35% of haste, which is huge. But I choose the Imperial Guard because of the all damage increase by 23.8% compared to Radiant Focus that only has skill damage plus 12.4%. This is why it is recommended to have higher haste for faster casting speed, so you will be using the Imperial Guards in many cases. So I guess that's all you need to know on how to build a DPS type Thaumaturge. Stay tuned as I will also make a guide for my last alt character, the Sword Bearer. If you find this video helpful, then please leave a like. Also subscribe to support my channel. As always, thank you for watching, stay safe and have an awesome day. Lights out.